All right, let's get right into it. We all think back on our day, right? On our work, on the decisions we made. But what if there was a way to turn that simple, everyday hindsight into a powerful tool for actually getting better? Well, today, we're digging into something called reflective practice. And trust me, it's way more than just a quick glance in the rearview mirror. To really get this, I want you to picture a basketball player. They've just finished a really tough game, maybe a bad loss. The final buzzer has gone, but for them, oh, the real work is just about to start. They're not just going to sit around and mope about the score. No, they're about to go review the game tape. They're going to analyze every single move, every pass, every decision. And this is where the magic happens. See, general reflection is just noticing something. I missed that shot. Okay, fine. But reflective practice? That's the coach in your head screaming, why did I miss that shot? It forces you to go deeper. Was my elbow tucked in? Did I rush it because of the defender? You know what? Was that even the right shot to take in that moment? It's a whole different level of analysis. It's about strategy and form, not just the outcome. So this process, this idea of reviewing our own personal game tape, it isn't just some good habit to have. It's actually a formal concept, a practice that was developed specifically to help people, especially professionals, master their craft. So what is it officially? Well, reflective practice is a structured and purposeful way of looking back at what you do professionally. And it has one very clear goal: to improve. And those two words are everything: structured and purposeful. This isn't just, daydreaming about what could have been. It is a deliberate, focused technique for making sure you're better next time. And by the way, this isn't some brand new, trendy idea. The framework for this was really put on the map by a theorist named Donald Shawn. He spent his time studying how top-tier professionals, we're talking architects, doctors, engineers, how they really learn and get better once they're out there on the job. So how does this actually work in practice? Well, at the very heart of reflective practice is this simple, kind of uncomfortable, but totally universal problem that every single one of us deals with: the gap between what we intend to do and what we actually do. And that's really the problem it's trying to solve. It's all about that space, that often really awkward space between our values and our behavior. It's the gap between the person we want to be at work and the person who actually shows up when the pressure is on. Let me give you a perfect everyday example. Think about a student. They genuinely believe deep down that the best way to ace a class is to study consistently a little bit every week. That's their stated thinking. But what's their action in practice? We've all been there, right? Pulling an all-nighter, cramming everything in right before the final exam. Reflective practice is the tool they'd use to figure out why that gap exists, and, more importantly, how to close it for the next semester. Right, so closing a gap like that, it doesn't just happen by accident. It takes a specific method. This isn't about just hoping you'll have more willpower next time. It's about building an actual system to make sure you do better. So it's really important to remember this is a formal approach. It's a deliberate theory and process. It's laser-focused on our professional actions, and it was born out of formal education settings. And why all the structure? Because the end game is always the same: real, tangible, professional development. And that brings this whole conversation right back to you. Let's pull this out of the theoretical world for a second. Forget the basketball player, forget the student. Think about your own life, your own work, that difficult meeting you had last week, a project that went completely sideways, maybe a conversation with a client you just wish you could do over. What's on your game tape? Okay, so let's lock in the big ideas here. To wrap it all up, first, reflective practice is a structured process. It is not just casual thinking back. Second, its goal couldn't be clearer. It's all about improvement. And finally, its most powerful trick: it shines a big, bright spotlight on those critical gaps between what you intend to do and what you actually end up doing. And that really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When you really consider your own professional life, what is the single most important intention-action gap that you need to review on your game tape? What's that one thing that, if you truly analyzed it, if you really understood it, could actually change everything?